Right. We're going to start volume 5 of the high voltage crash repair. Off camera, what I do is I masked it and I shot it with primer. I use U-Pole, this stuff here, sandable primer. You can get it from Amazon. Um, Sparky's got an Amazon page, and that's where I found it. Stuff works pretty good. The best stuff is the Harbor Freight sandable primer, which I have some, but I didn't want to use it on this. All right. So now we're in the process. We're going to sand this out. I just shot it with some primer. What I do is I masked it off and I just put a good coat of primer on it just to kind of blend everything in and fill in any low spots. I use tinfoil to mask. Um, Not a big secret there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it with 500. Um, you can use 320 here if you want, but I'm going to use 5. Um, I taped it off strategically, really only the areas that I wanted to be. Like I said, I shot probably a lot more primer than I needed. But it was really just to kind of get it so it filled in everything. And now I'm going to sand it with 500 and knock it down. To really only with primer sitting in the very low spots. There shouldn't be many. Um, and then now it looks like tomorrow weather's going to be good, so I'm going to get out and test fly it. But then what I'm going to do is to refinish it. I'm going to sand it with 1,000. I'm going to work all these areas with 1,000. Anywhere I'm going to be putting clear again. So what I'm going to do is paint it down to here. I'll put color here, white, black, the checker, whites. Um, I will not reshoot color here and here on the areas that are black already. But what I will do is tape them and I'll shoot clear there. I'll probably shoot clear all the way down because I do got to fix a spot back here, which I'll show you. I had some bubbles. And there's a spot right over here on top of the canopy that I'm not thrilled with. I'll fix those. And, that's got to get your black shot first and then the green. So while making this repair, I'll fix those other things that I wasn't thrilled with. And the spot over here that's not the green, I didn't put enough green there. But that's easy enough because I'll be able to tape it all and just really just selectively shoot the clear here on top. But this will all have to get sanded now with 1,000. All right, so I'm using 500 paper, and what I don't want to do is go very far over this line. I see that's already sanded, the ridge is out already. And all I'm doing is just trying not to apply finger pressure here at all. These are foam back pads, so I'm trying to use that as a block. And just trying not to sand, trying not to sand too much into the clear with 500. Um, you got to do a little bit. And at the end of the day, it's not really that critical. It's going to get clear on it anyway. So even 500 scratches, and you put the clear on will disappear. All right, so flip it over and do the bottom. on the sides. But that'll be a pretty short little video. After I sand all this out, I'm going to put it back together. So it looks like tomorrow the weather's going to be really nice. So I'm going to get some test flights in and just kind of see where we're at with it. And hopefully we're back, hopefully we're in a good spot with it. There's no challenges or issues with it. And then all we got to do is just resend the stuff off. We got to take care of. And what I'm doing is making sure I'm sanding the primer down, and really it should be starting to become translucent on the areas where you don't have low spots. Where I have low spots, there'll be primer. Where I don't, it'll become very translucent. And that means you're getting as much primer as you can. The primer has weight to it. There's a filler, a pigment. Really super exciting stuff. It's really just blending it in. As you go, wipe it. I wipe off the dust off. And then I use my fingers to feel. I'm feeling. Am I picking? You close your eyes and you feel. And you're picking up any low spots or high spots. Because that will show up in the things. I just cut the sandpaper into sizes that I use. What I do is I use one pair of scissors to cut sandpaper because it just will dull them. But it's kind of like a dedicated pair. Just, I just had one hole that was just Always a little bit of pain. And now it's not. Alright, so let's just leave that in there. Yeah, so by laying this on the side, you can kind of get a better sanding angle on it. We just keep working it in. As you sand this out, you can actually see the scratch marks in the clear if you look at it. So we're gonna continue to sand this down more. Because if I take clear off, it's fine. I'm gonna put it back on. So the more I can take off, it'll reduce any weight gain. I mean, we're talking this is gonna be minimal. If this whole repair is a quarter of an ounce, that would be a lot. And again, it's all up in the nose. Really not in a bad place if you're gonna add weight. The nose and the outboard tip are like the two places where if you're gonna add weight, it's okay. Probably the best place you can add it. Continue to sand this in. Now what's nice about this foam back paper, it kind of will take the contour of whatever you're sanding and act like a block. So it's like what I would call a very soft block. Okay. Again, I don't know how well you can see it up on the camera. You end up primer only in the low spots. One more half to sand there. So I just got to, after I sand this out, I got to put the motor back in, flaps back on, retape them back in. All right. Remember Windex here. Something like a fresh cup of Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just gonna check the take a bar harder to make sure everything's tight. Sometimes it will loosen up after the first time it's put together. I would hate for it to become its own board. It had to happen. So next steps, I mean, obviously, going to test fly this tomorrow, and once I'm happy with it, what I'll do is, yeah, I'm going to sand the entire top down with 1,000. Um, there's never, if you're going to refinish stuff, and you're thinking about, oh, how do I, what do I, how far do I go? Putting clear on the top is always good, especially this front half. This is what a lot of people see when they come up to it. So if you can build some more depth in the fluid, it's even better. So we're gonna put the motor in. Sandpaper there. So there's a little boot I'm going to try and push up back in place. Um, just a dust boot. So what I'm using is the backside of the X-Acto because I don't want to cut into it. I just want to take a look inside. Outside. So put the motor back in. I'm started. You started. Step 3. I always tighten them up across the X. Just to make sure it's in square. It looks good. And I make sure that the motor is flush up against the mount and there's nothing pushing it off. So that's in place. So the spin fit looks pretty good. Um, all right, let me get a propeller. All right, so this is Igor 12.5 narrow prop. Okay. So we do got some work to do on the spinner. It looks like a little bit. I'm rubbing in some spot, but we'll address that later. So I'm going to set it out a little bit further. So I'll have the nose gap a little bit bigger for test flights. Let's see why. So these props are hollow. And when you tighten them, you got to be a little careful. You don't damage them, but you got to get them tight. I've seen guys break the hubs off. All right, and the spinner feels pretty good. It seems to be pretty good. Just feeling around it at the same amount around. All right. So now I got to plug the motor in. Red to red, black to black, and white to white, white to yellow. Uh, These just use 4 steps. I just grab both of them just because it's the position I'm in to get them. Keep my fingers in there. And you just want to make sure that they have good connection. Then you plug them in. Yeah. It's tight. Good. This motor did get torn out of the plane. Hopefully no issue with it. It will be. The connectors may have gotten spread a little bit, which actually works to our advantage because you get tighter connection. Just a pain to put together, that's all. Motor's connected. We're gonna work on some wire management here. I always try to move the wires to the outboard side, just because figure some triple force will keep them that way. So why not use it? They're about the airflow. So you're not pushing the motor. You just want to make sure you rub a wire because that will be a problem. All right. Right now, motor's in, it's all on, ready to go. Oh, understand. Let me just verify this. Okay. 20, 21, 15, 16, 22. A little more than 22. So a little more than 16, which is good. Just making sure you don't see anything wobble here. Put the cone on or anything or something to wobble. It will create a vibration for sure. All right, put the flaps back on. Okay, so board flap, board flap. Now, I got a couple of questions on this for folks who are asking me about how do I, do this on wire. Is it a pain? Not really, I would say, but you gotta, especially if you do it right when you install it. So I do is I line up the first one, and as I go through, I look at okay, And a lot of times, especially at the beginning, you can use your finger to push the wire up or down. Um, Sometimes I'll move the flap a little bit. Not really that difficult. As I say that one, I'm only dropping a flap on the floor. Pretty dead right there. You can also use an X-Acto knife or another wire to kind of push it up and down. Like in this case, the wire's hanging low, so I reach on top, and I just push the wire up a little bit. That's how it goes right in. So, line it up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape the hinge line. I think people, how do you keep the wire in? Right? Just pretty simply take, um, you just with a credit card, a room key, and I tape the hinge line for two reasons. One, it does help hold the flat rod in place. Two, it seals off the surface, doesn't allow bleed through. So now what I do is I always put it on the flap first. On the flap, and then what I do is I peel the edge up. So what I do is I pick it up and pull it away from that edge. I just work it in. free. You really want to make sure of. Then what I'll do is I'll drop some glue on the other side of the hinge panels. And you just want to make sure there's no resistance in them. Alright, and that rod is in. And what I do is tuck it over there. Again, same deal. Trick is if you keep your fingers clean and put the tape on, you can't even see it if you do it right. If you keep your fingerprints out of it. At the end free. I do is just pull it back a little bit. So what I have to do is work it into the flat side first. I'll work it onto the trailing edge side above the hinge barrels. Should be able to do all that. It's in. And then all I do is just roll that over. Like I said, if you get no fingerprints in it and wrinkles, you won't even see this tape. With the titanium legs, I have to make a set of spats for them. Carbon legs, I like them. The problem is they get a little bit, they look the plane go a little bit back and forth on the ground, which I don't like. Okay. I'm gonna try and get some stiffeners to them, so you could use them. See if that solves it. We'll keep the weight down as well. So, all right. For my own knowledge, let's see where we ended up. Alright. 64. So not bad. It's gained a half an ounce so far. Uh, yep. It's gained a little bit. It's gained it's a quarter of an ounce already. And it's probably another hard. I mean, I also did put some additional tip weight in it. I did run some heavier ESC wires. But I was having an issue, so I had a little bit of weight there. Um, Plus, I also put the zip strips on. That's weight. You know, you don't realize all these little things. You keep adding these little things, you end up creeping up on it, which is fine. But 64, so that's not bad at all. I'm sure when I finish all that, it'll be about 64 and a half, maybe a little less. Um, but overall, not too bad. All right, so that's pretty much all I got. We'll get some test flights in tomorrow. Report back on how we did, and then if all's well, we'll go on to the finishing. Thanks for watching.